guests, I would like to cordially greet you all. May the Ataşehir Services building of the Ministry of Treasury and Finance be auspicious for our city, for our country. Tax Inspection Board, Financial Crimes Investigation Administration, and Tax Administration, like units, will be serving under the roof of this services building, and I would like to thank to those who contributed to the fruition of it. With this building, which we are inaugurating and now, we believe Istanbul will be among the top finance hubs of the world. With coronavirus, we know that Istanbul has become an attraction point in terms of its achievements, and we believe that this building will contribute further to it. With all the institutions and authorities, Turkey is a state of law, and we are determined to show that. Despite the double standards or hypocrisy or approaches based on bias, we will further reinforce the principles of rule of law, working to generate income, to invest are of activities which we support with all our authorities and institutions. In many areas, including the growth figures, we have seen that our potential has not maybe been used to the full extent, but thanks to the richness of our potential, we do a lot. And we believe that Turkey will distinguish itself in this challenging period compared to others. And every piece of data declared officially confirms our belief. Our country does not only recover, but in a process of leaping forward, and everyone has started to recognize that we are upsetting all the traps set in front of us and our economy, and we pursue our journey. In 2018, August, we were attacked in FX field, but thanks to the mechanisms we established and the precautions we took, we averted that attack. And we only could have maybe a little bit of a delay in achieving our targets, but after that we have met the needs of every section of the society, including the artisans, the business people, industrialists, and many others. The Social Shield program is the incentive program we have created, and the amount we shared with our people has exceeded 24 billion. The short-time working incentives and other in financial assistance will continue to be provided to our people, and we will continue to stand with our people. And other than this maybe delay due to the pandemic, we are determined to practice our economic programs and plans. About the political and economic structure, Turkey really stands in a very advantageous position. Before the pandemic is over, we have started already to work and come in contact with many companies, and many from the world have started to contact our companies, investors, and entrepreneurs. And we, of course, support the dynamism of our entrepreneurs in this regard. And from health to production, Turkey in many fields have managed to stand out during the outbreak. But some were disturbed of that. From economy to democracy, from transparency to infrastructure, the EU in those fields welcomed many countries, but still isolated Turkey, and this is a sign of their disappointment. But no matter what they do, they will not be able to prevent Turkey from reaching its targets and achieving goals. If we lose 5, let's say they will lose 10. So such an irregular order of strategy cannot be sustained. And there is no other nation, according to our knowledge, that can race against Turkey's power. But there are some other countries who act in a much more principled fashion. For example, the UK has taken positive steps that put Turkey to exemption in terms of the quarantine rules. And using this opportunity, I would like to thank to Mr. Boris Johnson for his initiative on behalf of my nation, and I would like to thank to him personally. And I hope that some other countries will adopt the same approach in this regard, and this goes the same for Germany. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Tourism visited Germany, and they declared that there are certain positive activities being undertaken. Distinguished friends, during the pandemic, on one hand, we continue to deliver the best healthcare services to our people, while on the other hand, we continue with activities that would further boost our potential of production and employment, and we started reaping the fruits of that. Many of our companies, during even the pandemic period, continued to produce. And we started our normalization program in June, and in every field we have started observing positive developments. In June, the electricity consumption increased by 36% as compared to the previous month, which is May. And the capacity usage by the factories increased up to 61.8%. An economic trust index has been registered at 73%, and real trust index has exceeded 83%. Procurement index has come to its zenith and was registered at 59% and confirmed the developments and growth in economic fields. And with all these pieces of data, we have left many G20 countries behind. Some other activities showed the appetite of entrepreneurship in our sector. Industry registries. About 7,000 new enterprises have been established. Only in June, some 1,500 new industrial companies have been established. And on a year-on-year basis, this is 93% higher. In Kocaeli, Kütahya Seramik, Antalya, Kortukeli, and Tekirdağ, Marmara Ereğlisi, or Hakkari, Yüksekova industrial zone regions were established, industrial zones were established. As you can see, we continue to work and produce decisively. The organized zones in number in our country increased up to 118, and we are very much self-sufficient in our organized industrial zones. In the first half of the year, about 550 new companies became operational, and our industrialists made an investment of almost 11 billion liras, and many incentive documents have been issued during June. And on a year-on-year basis, we have registered an increase of almost 15%, and we have provided incentive documents worth of 50 billion liras. And when we complete all these processes, thousands of people will be employed. And we have registered an increase of 15.5% in the industrial performance of our country. And we have registered all these during a period, an era, when we across the world have had to face a pandemic. And we know that the more we pave the way, the newer doors will be open for our exporters. And as the end of the year, we have also reduced the annual inflation rates. And the inflation rate is around 12% for this year, and we are determined to bring the inflation rates down to single digit figures, and we are very much determined about that. Istanbul Stock Exchange Index has performed very well, and the decreases in interest rates also have been reflected in all the markets, including the automotive industry and dwelling houses and construction industries. And we have been observing the developments in many fields. For example, now we have a tremendous increase in the number of automobiles sold, or the houses or dwelling houses sold. We have made a lot of inauguration. We have inaugurated a lot of facilities also in many fields, including health and industry, and these all show the ambitious acts of our country. And we have a lot of new facilities and new buildings to inaugurate in the following months. So we will not stop, but we will always continue to march on our path. So with this motto, we are firmly determined to continue with all the services we deliver to our people, to our country, in a non-stop fashion. And now you can know we are conducting maybe a symbolic event due to COVID-19. If we had not faced the COVID-19 predicament, we would probably have had many people in this room. And just a couple of hours ago, we inaugurated Kartal Dr. Lütfi Kırdar City Hospital, and there we only had a few people too. But if it were not for the COVID-19 predicament, we would have probably had thousands of people in that revenue as well. And before that, in Sancaktepe district, as you know, we inaugurated a hospital with a capacity of 108 beds, and we again made a symbolic, organized a symbolic ceremony. And a few days ago, we again inaugurated the first phase of Konya province inauguration facility. We did the groundbreaking ceremony and inaugurated the site, but it was again symbolic. But we know that the water is running, and water means civilization. This is our understanding. In the dry plains of Konya, we now are able to irrigate. In Quran, it says people will only get what they work for, and 83 million people of this country will hold tightly on our works, our jobs, and work hard so that we can achieve our goals. And every citizen of this country has the determination, has the power, and also ambitiousness to do what they aim, and to hold tightly and own up to our economy. We will be marching on our path. In the past, maybe some tried to turn one against the other, or brought terrorism to our way and prevented us from maybe reaching our targets. But hopefully they will not be able to do the same. Some want the history to be repeated, but no matter how hard they try, within and outside the country, they will not be able to stop Turkey from its glorification. In the past 18 years, Turkey has been rising in a stable way. And what we have done in the past 18 years maybe amounts to what was done in 50, 60, 80 years. But some people attempted many things to stop us. Starting from setting traps in front of us, or stirring up the streets, or supporting terrorist organizations. So they did a lot to stand in our way. But we made their acts come to avail, and we one by one averted all the predicaments laid in front of us. And our country has become a regionally strong actor, which it was not in its past before. And the position that our country claims in its region is getting stronger and stronger every passing year. And we are closer to our goals of 2023. When we bring our country to 2023 in a safe and sound and healthy way, we will continue to march on our path in a much, much more determined way. And we will leave a country to our next generations, a country which is of welfare and prosperity. As long as we own up to our unison, to our brotherhood, as long as we own up to our values, our homeland, our flag, our calls for prayer, it will do. And as long as we stand out and we bring up a young generation who stands out, we will do it. And the rest will follow, and the rest will be very easy. You should be assured. So with these thoughts, I once again wish that the Attaché Services building of the Revenue Administration and Tax Inspection Board will be auspicious. I would like to thank to everyone who contributed to the construction of this great work of art, all the engineers, architects, contractors, all workers, everyone. And thank you all very much. Stay in health.
Değerli konuklar, şimdi de Cumhurbaşkanımız Sayın Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, Vergi Denetim Kurulu ile Gelir İdaresi Başkanlığı Ataşehir Hizmet Binası'nın açılış kutresini keseceklerdir. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımıza refakat etmek üzere Sayın Bakanlarımızı
Now we would like to invite the ministers in the room to the stage to accompany His Excellency Mr. President to inaugurate the services building. We also would like to invite members of parliament to the stage and ask kindly that we pay attention to the rules of social distancing.
TOKİ Başkanımızı da sahneye davet ediyorum. Buyurun efendim.
I also invite the chairperson of TOKİ to the stage.
Sayın Şeref Malkoç Bey'i de
Mr. Şeref Malkoç.
Evet, hazır mıyız? Hiç sesiniz çıkmadı, hazır değilsiniz herhalde.
Are we all ready? You all keep silent. I guess you're not ready.
Evet, bu muhteşem güzel eser ta başbakanlığım döneminde
During my
İstanbul Finans Merkezi
service as the Prime Minister of the country, I declared this region as the finance center of Istanbul. Maybe some people did not believe, but we lost a lot of time And now we are inaugurating, opening in the first work of Istanbul Finance Center today. And we, in the video, saw that many public banks contributed a lot to the fruition of this building. And now they're on the rise. And when all the work is complete, this center, this region, will be one of the rare centers, hubs of the world, and it will become a significant attraction point. May it be auspicious. May God let us see those days to come. And with those thoughts, I would like to cut the ribbon.
Değerli konuklar, Vergi Denetim Kurulu ile Gelir İdaresi Başkanlığı Ataşehir Hizmet Binası'nın açılış merasimi burada sona erdi. Açılış törenini katılımlarıyla onurlandıran başta Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız olmak üzere tüm konuklarımıza teşekkür ediyor, saygılar sunuyoruz.